This show is brought to you by Safety FM.
LSV. It contains strong language, sexual situations, and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Finally, show with the balls to call it like it is. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Countdown to audio torture.
The Rated R Safety Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Let the eardrum pain begin.
Forget the corporate bullshit. This is the Rated R Safety Show with your host, Dr. It doesn't matter who the host is.
Oh, I think we have established that over the years. It does not matter who the host is. What has always mattered is who the listeners are. Anyways, how are you on this lovely Tuesday, June the 23rd. I hope everything is good and grand inside of your neck of the woods as we are hanging out. Anyways, we are broadcasting from the Safety FM studios in Orlando, Florida, and coming across the multiverse known as Safety FM and hanging out with our friends and colleagues over there.
Radio.
Oh, yes, hanging out with our friends at Radio Big, getting to do all the fun stuff that they get to do, that's for sure. And then we get to come in, hang out with them, which makes it even more interesting experience, just to say a few here. So anyways, how have you been? How's the last 24 hours treated you? Have you done anything super exciting? Have you seen any LinkedIn posts on how you missed out on the greatest week of the year last year? You know, the kind of typical shit that happens after most conferences. So I'm just asking. Just want to have a better understanding of life. That is for sure. Anyway, so we are hanging out doing all the fun stuff today. So yes, let's talk about what we do here. Our show consists of safety in the news and safety. That's just kind of what we do around here. No doubt about that. So if you want to hang out and do some things with us, you're more than welcome on doing that. You have a lot of options here. We are a radio show that's also on a podcast network that also streams on a video. So let's talk about how we do this. You can find us on all major podcast catchers, including Spotify, Apple Podcast, iHeartRadio, Live 365, Odyssey. You know, there's a lot of crap where you can find us. We're also on the podcast catchers there. We're streaming on radio stations such as RadioBig.fm, SafetyFM.com. That's just to name a few. So that's where we're kind of streaming. That's where we're doing our stuff. Then once you do that, you can do the visual radio, depending on the podcast catcher or wherever you're at in regards to like YouTube and things along those lines. Rumble, Twitch. I believe also you can go to safetyfm.com, click on visual radio. So there's all kinds of options in regards to what we have going on. We're easy to find. Let's just put it to you that way. So with that being said, if you want to interact with the show, it's a simple process. All you have to do is go to callinradio.com. That's callinradio.com. Once you get there, audio, video, and text messaging are the options of the things that it will allow you to do. So there you go. You just go from there, and then we move forward. And then we have other things that happen. We have people that have come in that are professional broadcasters that talk about the crap that's going on out there inside of the world. And then we hang out and do some stuff with them. And then I hang out and come back and give you some level of a main story. And then we go from there. That is essentially the show. That is the whole thing. This is hour 1. That's the only one that's video streamed and simulcasted. Hour 2 and 3 are exclusively on radiobig.fm. So there you go. That's how we do it. So if you're good with this, I'm definitely good with this. We can start getting into the news stories because there are a crap load of them. That's what always happens. So if you're good with this, I will get you rolling right now.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
From Feature Story News in New Delhi, I'm Neha Punia. Iran has rejected US Vice President J.D. Vance's claims that as part of a broader peace deal, Tehran will allow nuclear inspectors back into the country. Experts say the fact that Vance highlighted the inspectors issue as a breakthrough reveals how important access to Iran's nuclear sites is to the American side. The lifting of sanctions on Iranian oil will allow Tehran to sell oil in US dollars for the first time in decades. This presents a challenge for the US, as Kate Fisher reports.
Clearly, verification is central to all of this. One of the big things that the Trump administration has a problem with is, for example, the stockpiles of enriched uranium that are still in Iran, and they will want to be able to inspect Iran's nuclear sites. And the fact that J.D. Vance is suggesting this is a major breakthrough in these talks shows just how important it is to the United States. I think one of the big problems is, though, when it comes to the money that Iran will make from selling its oil, of course, those sanctions that the US had imposed on Iran's oil industry have now been lifted under this interim agreement, meaning that they can sell their oil at market price. And the US is going to have a lot less say over what they do with that income than they do, say, over frozen funds that they have, frozen assets that they have allowed Iran access to once again. So I think they are going to really struggle when it comes to what they do with that oil money.
Iran's president, meanwhile, is now visiting the Pakistani capital. Hira Mustafa has more on how the easing of some sanctions on Tehran could revive a long-stalled energy project between the two neighbors.
As soon as the Iranian President Masoud Pezeshkian is going to arrive in Islamabad today, he will be holding high-level talks with the Pakistani Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif as well as the Foreign Minister Ishaq Dar. Officials here in the capital are hoping that the lifting of some sanctions from Iran during the Lucerne summit is paving a way to restart the progress on Iran-Pakistan gas pipeline that will help strengthen the economic cooperation between the two countries, which has been stalled over the years due to sanctions on Iran.
National security advisors and senior defense officials from BRICS nations are meeting in New Delhi, with the event focused largely on non-traditional security challenges. The BRICS Forum, which includes China, Russia, Iran and the UAE as members among others, has been divided over the Iran war. As Ishan Garg reports,
analysts say that it could include things like artificial intelligence, their use in modern warfare, misinformation campaigns and fake news. It will be crucial to see how the BRICS bloc decides to tackle such emerging threats.
From bureaus worldwide, this is FSN.
With FSN Spotlight, I'm Simon Marks. It's been 10 years to the day since the British public decided to remove the United Kingdom from the European Union. A referendum result showed 52% of the country favouring withdrawal against 48% who wanted to stay in. Amid the current political turmoil in Britain, attention is being paid to the post-Brexit balance sheet. Anant Menon is Professor of European Politics at King's College London.
The root of Brexit is a trade-off, okay? And it's a trade-off between political autonomy and market access. So if you're someone who thinks, actually, I want immigration policy, trade policy, regulatory policy to be made by my government in London without anyone else getting involved in it, then Brexit has worked in the sense that we now have that regulatory independence, the freedom to do our own trade deals, the freedom to set our own immigration policy. But, and the trade-off was always implicit in this, at a cost, which means that we no longer have easy access to the European market, so we've paid an economic price for that freedom. There has been an economic impact of Brexit, that's definitely the case. But secondly, it's also, I think, true that people look at the overall state of the economy and come to a conclusion about Brexit about that. And the overall state of the economy is not simply down to Brexit.
Today, majorities of British voters say they want the UK to return to the European Union. But as we will hear from Professor Menon tomorrow, that is a very complicated journey. With FSN Spotlight, I'm Simon Marks.
The main news again. Iran has rejected US Vice President J.D. Vance's claims that as part of a broader peace deal, Tehran will allow nuclear inspectors back into the country. Iran's president is visiting the Pakistani capital of Islamabad to discuss a long-stalled energy project between the two neighbors. National security advisors and senior defense officials from BRICS nations are meeting. Focus on emerging tech and its challenges is New Delhi's way of building consensus on issues. And that is the latest feature story news. Neha Punya reporting.
Listen at your own risk. Rated R Safety Show.
This portion of the show has been sponsored by Private Internet Access, America's #1 virtual private network, or VPN. Even if you use incognito mode, internet service providers is storing your browser data and many times even selling it. But Private Internet Access, or PIA, can help you. PIA encrypts and reroutes your internet traffic through one of its own servers, hiding your data from your internet service provider or network admin. And with servers in over 75 countries, you can get unrestricted access to geo-blocked content from around the world. PIA comes with easy-to-use apps and browsers extension for all devices, a rock-solid privacy policy, open source security, advanced customization settings, and it was just ranked the fastest VPN in the world by PC Magazine. And if you sign up right now with PIA, you can take advantage of a special deal only for Safety FM listeners. Only by using the following link, you can get the digital privacy for less than $2 a month. Yes, you did hear me correctly, less than $2 a month, and an extra 4 months for free. So that means for only $1.98 a month and 83% off, you can get this service for you right now. That's so much more inexpensive than virtually every other VPN on the market. And if you get it right now, you can take PIA's 30-day risk-free challenge. You can try it out for 30 days, see if you like it, and if not, just return it for a full refund. So just go to safetyfm.com/VPN. That's safetyfm.com/VPN to try out the best VPN on the planet completely risk-free. Now remember, safetyfm.com/VPN.
What if everything we thought we knew about safety was just interference? From the host of the Rated R Safety Show and the founder of Safety FM comes the complete signal transmission trilogy, now available in one powerful edition. Safety, in my opinion, the book that started the conversation. Safety Mutation, where the boundaries of culture, systems, and belief begin to break. And now, Safety Transmission, the final piece of the signal. For the first time, all three books are together in one volume. The Signal Transmission Trilogy, Complete Edition. This isn't just about compliance. It's about consciousness. It's about decoding the way we think, lead, and live, inside and outside the system. Whether you've been following the signal since the beginning or you're just now tuning in, this is the version to own. Search Signal Trilogy on Amazon or visit safetyfm.com to get your copy now.
Let's start using cutting-edge warp-speed 5G technology with your cell phone. Let me tell you about my friends at mobile.io. They have an ultra-fast 4G LTE and 5G network that covers 99% of Americans. So they've got you covered everywhere. Think about it for a moment. You have the opportunity to take a test drive for 10 days with unlimited talk, text, and
in premium data. What is premium data? Premium data is an allotment of a cellular data that you receive from a higher priority on the network. You won't get throttled like you will with some of those, well, non-brand service providers. To find out more information, all you have to do is go to mobilemobile.io. That's mobilemobile.io to start your 10-day free trial.
Hello. Always replicated, but never duplicated. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so there you go. 15 minutes past the top of the hour as you and I are hanging out on this lovely Tuesday. Yeah, I always forget to check what movies come out before I walk in here on Tuesday. Yeah, I don't know why I do that. And then I check it afterwards and I go, oh yeah, I should have probably talked about that. Always happens on a Tuesday. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what I'm thinking half the time. There you go. So let's start talking because, of course, there's news stories and then there's news stories.
And then there's drama.
So let's talk about this. Conservative commentator Tucker Carlson says that he no longer considers himself a Republican, blaming the party leaders for what he calls a betrayal of their voters. During a recent podcast interview, Carlson declared, "I'm out," saying that he no longer supports the GOP after its backing of Israel and the U.S. military action against Iran. He argued that the party has put the interest of another country ahead of the American people, making it impossible for him to continue supporting it. Carlson said that he voted Republican his entire adult life and has spent roughly 35 years defending the party. But he now believes that the GOP leaders have abandoned their core responsibility and representing American voters. He also made it clear that he's not switching sides, saying that he no longer has no intention of supporting Democrats either. Maybe it's time to start your own thing. Who knows? Take a listen to what he had to say.
I would not support the Republican Party. There's no chance I would support the Republican Party. I'm not going to support the Democratic Party. I don't know what I'm going to do. But at this point, you know, how could I or any American voter support a political party that's not loyal to the United States, that puts the interests of a foreign country above those of its own citizens? That's it's not possible to vote for people like that, and I'm not going to. And I think I voted Republican my entire life. I worked at Fox News, CNN, right. MSNBC. I've been a consistent defender for 35 years of the Republican Party. I mean, very consistent defender. But there's no defending this because it's immoral, and it's exactly the opposite of what a political party in a democracy is charged with doing, which is representing its own voters, its own citizens, its own nation, and they're not doing that. So, no, I'm out. And if I'm out, then I think a lot of other people are out.
So what do you think? So is he referencing there towards the end that if he's out, he's taking other people with him? Or is the belief system that because he doesn't look at the things the way that he used to, neither do other people? That's going to be the greatest question of all in regards on how that works. Is one of those things that we have to take a look at. No doubt about that. Anyways, let's continue talking about some other things that are going on inside of the world, because that's what we do around here. So I want to make reference to this because I always get those questions that pop in. I thought this... Hold on. Let me do it properly.
I thought this was a safety show. Why are you talking about the news? I need to know more about safety.
Okay, so what we do around here is we talk a little bit about everything. The reason that I do it in this particular format is because I think that you need to have things that are going on if you're going to have a meeting before you just jump into it and go, I am Mr. Prim and Proper, and we can only talk about safety.
Oh, what regulations are we going to talk about today?
We can only talk about safety.
What regs? I need the regs.
It's okay. We can talk about other stuff, too, as we are talking. Okay, so in a new TikTok video, a relationship expert revealed the 2 words a man can tell a woman to get her to fall in love with him. 2 words. You ready for this? I mean, you definitely have to take a listen to this because I just don't believe anything anymore.
Say this if you want her to fall in love with you. It's only 2 simple words. Men who are irresistible to women are that way because of the choices they consistently make. Oh, and if you want to learn more about it, you can book a call. Add this into the vernacular you use with her, and she's yours. The 2 words are this: for you. I will do that for you. For you, I have the time. I got this for you. They say everyone walks around with a sign on them that says, "Make me feel important." And saying these words will make her feel like she's the only girl in your world.
Okay, so there you go. For you. For you. So I've done this show today for you. I mean, I don't understand. Do you really feel like is that really the game changer? I don't know. Maybe that's one of those things that we should probably give some consideration to.
Another pitfall of our society. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so let's continue talking about some other things that are going on inside of the world here. The U.S. Senate overwhelmingly approved the bipartisan housing bill yesterday, 85-5 vote amid aimed at making housing more affordable. The legislation called 21st Century Road to Housing Act now heads to the House of Representatives for consideration. The bill was negotiated by lawmakers from both parties, including Republican Senator Tim Scott and Democrat Elizabeth Warren, who praised the effort as proof that Washington can still work together on major issues. Warren said that the bill shows bipartisan legislation can make meaningful difference rather than setting for a bare minimum. A handful of senators missed the vote because the severe thunderstorms disrupted their flights into Washington, D.C. Is that the 5 that is that the counter 5, or is that just kind of people that said, nah, I don't agree with it? I'm just asking. I wanted to have a better understanding. So there you go. Okay, take a listen to this. A judge in Utah has rejected a defense request to force a key witness to testify at next month's preliminary hearing of the murder case of Charlie Kirk. The witness, Tyler Robinson's former roommate and romantic partner, who prosecutors say exchanged text messages with Robinson on the day Kirk was fatally shot. The defense argued that the witness should appear in person because those conversations are part of evidence prosecutors are using as they pursue the death penalty. Judge Tony Graff Jr. denied the request for now, saying the defense failed to show that the witness testimony would likely affect whether there is enough evidence to move the case forward. He also ruled that the prosecutors can rely on certain heresy evidence during the preliminary hearing, noting that hearing is only meant to determine probable cause, not guilt or innocence. Robinson, 23, is accused of fatally shooting Turning Point USA founder Charlie Kirk during an event in Utah Valley University in September of 2025. He surrendered to police the following day and has not entered a plea. Prosecutors are seeking the death penalty, and Robinson faces multiple charges, including aggravated murder, obstruction of justice, witness tampering, and weapons-related offenses. So there you go. A lot of stuff going on there as we are talking. What do you think here? I'm just asking because, man, it's going to get more and more interesting. Like, I will tell you, I can remember exactly where I was when I found out what exactly had occurred with Charlie Kirk. So it's interesting. Well, let me say found out. That's bullshit because that's not a true statement. When I had heard that he had been shot. Because I don't really think that everything has been finalized in regards to that investigation, but we can leave that for another day in regards to what we're talking about there. That is for sure.
Duh.
So let's continue talking. A new report claims that investigators may have missed a crucial opportunity in search for Nancy Guthrie, the mother of Today's Show co-anchor Savannah Guthrie, who disappeared in February. According to airmail, authorities believe that early ransom emails from alleged kidnapper were credible because they included details of only someone close to the case would likely know, including that Nancy was wearing when she vanished and information about her property. Instead of paying the $4 million ransom demand, investigators reportedly used tactics called tickling the wire. Okay, sending just $152 in Bitcoin in hopes of tracking the recipient. The money was never touched. And after the ransom deadline passed, the alleged kidnapper reported claimed that Nancy had died and offered to return her body for the original payment. Nancy remains missing nearly 5 months later. And while one person has been arrested for sending fake ransom messages, the FBI continues to investigate and is offering a reward of up to $50,000 for information that could lead to the recovery or the arrest of those responsible. So there you go. So it's been 5 months. Now, let's be realistic here because I kind of want to have an understanding of this. Tickling the wire. So if you ask somebody for $4 million, $4 million, 4000, comma, 000 dot, $4 million, and you send them $152, they would be a dumbass if they touch that. I mean, think about that for just a brief moment. I understand what you're attempting to do, but man, are really people that messed up that you would think, okay, this seems like this is going to be a good idea for them as they go ahead and open that? I mean, how would you not know that you are about to get the setup of setups in regards of opening that thing? I mean, I would think that somebody with a brain would realize that you have just set them up in a way that they know the moment that they open this, it's Pandora's box on the other side. Or am I looking at this going, oh, no, I have no idea what I'm talking about, and you definitely pulled the fast one over them when it was all said and done.
Safety in a way never heard of before. The Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
I'm just asking. You don't have to get mad at me for making that reference. I mean, I'm just asking. It's kind of a weird thing to talk about. So there you go. A lot of stuff going on inside of the world. Should we talk about this one? I don't know. I kind of feel like this is more of an hour 2 one, but let's talk about it because it's making the rounds and people are going to care about this. So take a listen to this. Tom Brady is questioning whether the National Football League has gone too far in changing the game to reduce head injuries. During a recent podcast appearance, Brady said that players understand the risks that come with football and argued that the league should focus on improving recovery and medical care rather than continuing to reduce contact through rule changes. Brady acknowledged that no one wants to see players get hurt, but said that physical play is the fundamental part of football. He estimated that the league has reduced the contact by roughly 25 to 30% through rule changes, new helmets, guardian caps, and strictly enforcing hits to the head. His comments revisits the long-running issue in his personal life. In 2017, when wife Gisele Bündchen revealed that Brady had suffered multiple concussions during his career and publicly expressed concern about the toll football was taking on his health, Brady later admitted that she wanted him to retire years before he eventually stepped away from the game in 2023. Didn't he retire, then he come back almost immediately? Let's take a listen to what he had to say.
And I think just because of people being really conscientious about head injuries. Yeah. And it's not my favorite thing to talk about. I think that like part of what you sign up for as an athlete is you're willing to take more risks than what other people are willing to take. And I've played, and I've been around a lot of NFL athletes. Michael Strahan's one of my great friends. He's on TV with me. Yeah. Rob Gronkowski, guys that played in the certain area of tough football. We're great. You know what I mean? We work hard. We took care of ourselves. Yeah. We look back at our careers and I think you're real happy. And I think I'm really happy about the sport that I played because it was physical and the physicality of the sport forced me to come up with disciplines within myself that allowed me to be very healthy over a long period of time.
Okay, but let's talk about this. You are in a position, and I'm just saying in regards of your position, that you are defended by a whole line. I don't know if everybody who plays football is in that category, and I'm not picking on you, believe me. By no means here. I'm just saying let's think about this for just a brief moment in time. Because it gets weird. It gets weird when you start thinking about it. I mean, not everybody plays that position. And don't get me wrong, he's considered one of the greatest football players of all time, specifically in the quarterback position. So there you go. I don't know. I don't know what's right. I don't know what's wrong. Just something to get into right there. Anyways, a camping trip in California took a disgusting turn when a man dropped his sunglasses into a vault toilet at Camp Edison and decided that they were worth retrieving. Instead, he fell into the toilet chemical waste tank and became trapped. Emergency crews performed a confined space rescue, pulling him out in about 15 minutes before firefighters hosed him down. Authorities didn't say whether he ever recovered the sunglasses, but it's safe to say that they weren't worth the dive. That's what a crappy vacation story, if you kind of think about it. And he really took the deep dive into the situation. He went looking for shades and found the dark side. And that's what happens when you refuse to let things go. His vacation went straight down the toilet. And I mean literally there, when it's all said and done. And he found rock bottom and kept going. And it turns out that hindsight isn't cleaner than foresight. So there you go. Some things to think about as we are talking. What do you think there? I mean, realistically, would you take a dive for it? I mean, the argument here, there are sunglasses. There are prescription sunglasses. That's the only way you can see. Maybe debatable. Or if you have one of those cars that has Bluetooth connection and your key's the only one that's on your phone, I could understand maybe some of that. If you have no other option whatsoever, I could understand maybe taking the dive. But man, sounds rough.
Safety never sounded so terrible. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, a Denver woman's simple chicken nugget dinner turned into a viral mess after black liquid suddenly sprayed all over her kitchen when she pulled a baking pan out of the oven. TikToker Abby Smith, yes, Abby Smith, had no idea what caused the explosion, but later discussed that the culprit was a old double-insulated baking sheet. Water was become trapped inside of the pan, oxidized over time, and then boiled under the pressure in the oven, forcing a black liquid out of through a small hole. Smith says that the experience taught her and now millions of viewers to make sure that insulated pans are completely dry before using them. Those weren't chicken nuggets, they were ink nuggets is what it sounds like. Man, what a weird time that is. So there you go. Take a listen to this one. A family in Queensland, Australia got into an unexpected house guest when they discovered a large snake hiding behind their living room TV. Professional snake catcher Stuart McKenzie was called in to safely remove the reptile using a snake hook to put it in, pull it from behind the television before relocating it back into the wild. The family believes the snake is likely slithered inside through an open door or a window. The snake catching company joked on social media that the reptile wanted to watch a movie with the family, but admitted that it wasn't exactly welcome for movie night. So there you go. That's definitely an unexpected guess when you start thinking about it, when it's all said and done. I mean, I don't know if that's something that you'd really want, but it's something definitely to give some consideration to as we are hanging out. Anyways, 32 minutes past the top of the hour.
Here is our main story on the Rated R Safety Show.
So it's definitely time to do some talking hawking here in regards of some stuff, because that's what we do around here. We talk a little bit about everything. So it's kind of funny because we look at an invoice. Just look at that invoice is probably where we should start. And if you want to know exactly what the system values, don't read the mission statement. Read the billing structure. So I don't know if you've heard of this organization, but I want to reference it. I was tracking a thread on LinkedIn yesterday from the Safety Nights Network earlier that they were discussing in the day. And it completely validated the toxic static that we've been monitoring for years, and we're witnessing an absolute unapologetically shakedown. The price tag's currently behind being slapped on a safety conference, executive symposiums, elite certifications that are staggering. We are talking about thousands of dollars for 3-day badge of honor. You pay a premium rates to sit in an air conditioner ballroom, staring at the slide deck, debating the formatting of the compliance report while 20 feet away to the blue line, an unresolved operational nightmare is actively unfolding. So let's talk about this. The system has figured out how to monetize the simulation, and the business is booming. Let me be brutally honest with you for just a few moments here, because I've been the mark for this exact con. For a long time, I actually thought that the letters would make it feel real. I chased every safety designation that I could get my hands on, all the way up a certified safety executive. I studied, I trained, I passed the test, and I stacked those acronyms after my name, and I felt like an outsider who had earned the right to sit at the table. I watched people light up on LinkedIn every time that they added another set of letters on their profile, and I played that exact same game for a period of time. But here is the devastating truth that breaks the cartel entire business model. All of the credentials in the world will not help you if you're asking the wrong questions. For all the expensive certifications I held, I still saw the system breaking down. I still saw people working inside the construct that didn't make a shred of sense. Yeah, didn't make a shred of sense. I still saw leaders throwing blame instead of pausing and understanding the operational context. The letters might get you in the door, but the connection is what keeps you in the room. The cartel is telling you the map for they're selling you the map for the premium prices, completely divorced from the reality of the territory. They have constructed the Black Iron Prison, a closed-loop matrix where you pay top dollar to maintain the illusion of control. Think about what Philip K. Dick warned us about when we are trapped in the sequence of fake realities, and the cartel is the architect of the hologram, changing you in the entry fee, and charging you an entry fee to stare at the shadows on the wall where the real world burns outside. It is exactly what professional wrestling, corporate safety has become a worked shoot. It feels like an unscripted and raw, but it's actually part of the show. A calculated dose of reality injected onto the performance to keep the crowd guessing. You walk into these high-priced seminars and people are posturing, talking about lessons learned, but underneath the language and the slides, you can feel it. We aren't fixing the system. We are performing around it. It is compliance theater designed to protecting the image of control. No, seriously, the image of control. And what happens when you build the entire industry on the appearance of performance instead of actual safety? The system collapses. Look at 2008. I want to bring this up for a moment. The mortgage crisis. Banks started offering high-risk loans to people who couldn't afford them because the structure incentivized selling, not sustaining. The metrics said that this system was fine, but the metrics were lying. The rating agency stamped those bundles as top tier because they were paid to approve, not to question. That's what happens when performance outpaces perception. People inside of the system stop seeing the system. They just followed the rules and trusted the models. But when you ignore the early signals, the small breakdowns, the honest conversation, those signals don't go away. They pile up. Eventually, the system calls in the tab. The cartel expensive certification and bloated programs are the subprime mortgages of the industry. They look at secure on paper, but they are hollow. And then they crash. The crash comes. It's the frontline workers on the blue line who pays the highest price because the system was never designed to protect them. It was designed to extract from them. Yes. So how do we break up the high entropy loop? And how do we strip away the noise and find a low entropy truth? We look at Bruce Lee, the Tao Jeet Kune Do. Lee gives us the exact antidote of corporate bloat. He writes the height of cultivation runs through simplicity, while half away through the cultivation runs the ornamentation. Think about that for a moment. And let this sink in. The cartel is selling you the ornamentation. They are selling you 72 slide deck, elite membership, the complex bureaucracy framework. It is fancy mess that distorts the cramps practitioners, distracting them from the actual reality of combat, which is simple and direct. Jeet Kune Do favors formlessness so that you can assume all forms. The art of Jeet Kune Do is simple, and it's simply to simplicity. It's simple, and then you simplify. It avoids superficial, penetrates the complex, and goes straight to the heart of the problem. And it pinpoints key factors: absence, stereotype technique, and the substance means to be totally free. You don't get $5,000 masterclass to achieve that. You don't need an acronym. You just need to hack away the unessential, and you need presence. So let's talk a little bit more about some of this stuff, because that's going to be important. Thomas Campbell tells us that high entropy systems are chaotic, noisy, and driven by fear. That is what the Cartel business model. They injected high entropy fear into the culture. Fear to audit, fear of liability, fear to non-compliance, and then they sell you the high entropy cure. But true safety is low entropy. It is quiet. It is a foreman who puts down the clipboard and looks at the operator in the eye and says, "What is the system making it impossible for you to be able to do today?" Real safety at its core is absolutely free, and that's what makes it so terrifying to the establishment. They cannot monetize a genuine human conversation on a shop floor. They cannot put a price tag on leaders who has the guts to drop the kayfabe, breaks down the fourth wall, and admits that the procedure doesn't match the reality of the work. So here we have to stop working the marks. We have to stop funding the simulation. The next time that you are handed a glossy brochure about a safety symposium that costs more than a frontline worker makes in a month, recognize it for what it is: a toll booth inside the Black Iron prison. Keep your money and keep your eyes wide open. Walk the floor, find the glitches, because the people doing the work aren't the problem. They are the signal. So let me explain this to you. I am going to take this post from Safety Nights, and maybe I should show this for a moment here. Let's move some things around for a moment, because I think that might be the better way of doing this. And I can show this to you in regards of how they had this set up, because I thought it was pretty interesting in regards on how this was set up. So if you take a look at the Safety Nights, this is their post. I'm going to put it inside of the show notes for you can take a look at this. But man, was this kind of strategized geniusly. But look at the picture if you're on the video feed. Point of view: you don't make $5K to spend. You don't have $5K to spend and can't take 3 days off. I thought it was a genius post. This is why we kind of built this thing around it today in regards to being able to talk about this. So anyways, think about those things today, because it's definitely going to be a different one, as people are going to look at this and go, man, what exactly is going on? So thanks to Safety Nights for this post.
Oops! What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with the viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
Don't go anywhere.
You're listening to the home of real safety talk.
You are listening to Safety FM. We'll be right back.
In safety, in my opinion, you woke up. You saw the system, the simulation, the structure that trained you to mistake compliance for care. Safety mutation. Information misdirection picks up where the signal fractured. Because the system didn't shut you down, it rebranded you. It packaged your voice, sold your rebellion as a new initiative, and smiled while doing it. This isn't a manual. It's a decoded transmission about what happens when slogans replace stories, when safety becomes marketing, and when truth gets mirrored so perfectly, you forget it was ever yours. You'll see the mutation. Learning teams turned into theater, zero harm turned into optics, and feedback turned into formatting. But the signal didn't die. It was redirected. Safety Mutation is Book 2 of the Signal Transmission Trilogy. Available now in print, Kindle, and audiobook. Narrated by the author Jay Allen. PhD, because the system adapted. Now it's your move.
Is your safety training old, stale, and hacked? Is your safety trainer still preaching a warped version of behavior-based safety? How about safety training that actually addresses your hazards in your workplaces and is not standardized baloney from 25 years ago? Contact the Safety Wars team at safetywars.com or call Jim Posel at 845-269-5772. Remember, if you're receiving this message, you are the solution to unsafe workplaces.
Do you have a claim and not sure where to turn? Coastal Claim Consultants are professionally licensed and bonded public insurance adjusters employed exclusively by you, the policyholder, to represent you after sustaining an insured loss. They assist policyholders in all aspects of processing the claim, working closely with the insured to provide the most equitable and timely settlement possible. They will provide you with comprehensive service, anything from inspecting the loss site, analyzing damages, compiling claim support data, reviewing applicable coverages, assessing replacement costs of damages, and negotiating your settlement. The adjusters at Coastal Claim Consultants will evaluate your claim for no upfront cost whatsoever. Coastal Claim Consultants' fee is based on contingency contracts and are paid when the insurance company sends you a check and it's in your possession. Coastal Claim Consultants are licensed to assist you in the following states: Florida, Texas, Oklahoma, Georgia, and South Carolina. For more information, go to coastal-cc.com. That's coastal-cc.com. For more information, lighting the way to recovery. Coastal Claim Consultants.
It's the show, and they just make fun of a whole bunch of people. It's just too funny. It's too stupid.
Rated R Safety Show.
Maybe there is one thing we can do and you should know. Fear is gonna tears are falling. Fear is gonna tears are falling. Fear is gonna start to take control.
Okay, here we go. 46 minutes past the top of the hour. As you and I are hanging out on this lovely Tuesday. Yep, CCC. Controversy creates cash. Anyways, I gotta love stories when I kind of see some of that stuff. Anyways, 46 minutes past. This right here is called Not So Certain by the Urbanites. Songs readily available on Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube Music, and Pandora. Yep, some places where you can definitely pick that one up. I would recommend strongly giving it a little streamer-eamer action. Because why would you not want to do that? Yep, a lot of good times as we are hanging out, doing our thing. Anyways, we would like to thank the Urbanites for allowing us to play this here on the Rated R Safety Show, no doubt about that. Okay, so let's continue talking about some other things that are going on inside of the world of the multiverse, because that's just kind of what we do around here. And if anything, let me tell you about the most important thing, if not the most important thing, that I will ever tell you in my lifetime, and that's about my friends at To Write Love on Our Arms.
Duh.
No matter what you're facing, you deserve to be connected to help, and we want you to know that people have been where you are now, and things can get better. Healing is possible. To find out more information, all you have to do is go to TWLOHA.com. That's TWLOHA.com. That's To Write Love on Her Arms. Once you get there, all kinds of information related to addiction, depression, anxiety, eating disorders, self-injury, suicide, trauma, grief support, just to name a few. That's TWLOHA.com, To Write Love on Her Arms. Believe me, once you get there, it can change everything for you. Being dead serious as I say that. Listen, there are times in life that things kind of get very interesting, and you might just need some resources. If you go to this website, you will find things for you, and maybe even someone else in the long run. TWLOHA.com, to write love on her arms. Go to the far right-hand side and click on the section that says Find Help. So there you go. A lot of stuff going on there inside of the multiverse. Okay, so a couple of different things coming up real quick before I forget. July the 13th is so close, it's not even funny anymore. I think it's like 3 weeks away, or was 3 weeks away yesterday. So this is going down like a merry-go-round. So there you go. Reality Shifts, an observational symphony, is 100% live and in person, taking place in Orlando. We're doing this at the Aloma Cinema Grill in Orlando. What's going to happen there? Well, we're going to be hanging out with Todd Conklin, talking about human and organizational performance. We'll be hanging out with Nick Weatherly, talking about behavior-based safety. We'll have myself there, talking about Signal. And then we'll watch a level of a documentary at some point and go from there. If you are interested in showing up, all you have to do is go to safetyfm.io to find out more information. Safetyfm.io. You'll find out more information inside of there. Boom. And we'll get everything moving and grooving for you. No doubty-outy about everything that's going on right there. So once you do that, we are golden to move forward. So there you go. A lot of stuff to think about, a lot of stuff to talk about as we are hanging out. So safetyfm.io, taking place July the 13th in Orlando. Some people are like, why a Monday? Well, if you want to hang out in Orlando over the weekend, it gives you the opportunity of doing so. Anyways, with that being said, I do have John Small waiting in the wing, wanting to talk about the Motivation Minute. So let's do that right now.
The Motivation Minute. Courtesy of JaceCaseMedical.com. Today's quote was submitted by Colin. Paul McCartney said, I used to think anyone doing anything weird was weird. Now I know that it is the people that call others weird that are weird. I love this. I remember meeting a guy that was weird to me when I was about 20 years old. He did weird things and made his living being a little bit odd. He would travel from place to place and put on shows that would make people laugh and would amaze them with his skills with cards and juggling. He was a comedian, a juggler, a magician, and a pastor. What a combination. I met him at a church event that was a fundraiser for a youth ministry. We brought people to the event and he made them glad they joined us. I remember thinking that he was fun and cool, but about as weird as you could be. Now, as I'm in my 50s, I look back and think, what was weird about it? He made a living entertaining other people. The Motivation Minute. This has been the Motivation Minute. I'm John Small. Thanks for listening. Your favorite motivational quotes can be submitted for upcoming programs at motivationminute.org.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
Lawmakers continue debating major funding and policy proposals as congressional leaders work to resolve differences before key deadlines.
Negotiations involved spending priorities and government programs affecting millions of Americans nationwide. Further discussions are expected as both parties seek agreement on remaining issues. Kevin Sanders reporting.
Health officials warn that an Ebola outbreak in Central Africa is expanding, raising concerns about strained medical systems and cross-border spread.
Authorities reported rising case numbers and growing infections among healthcare workers treating patients. International agencies are increasing support while neighboring countries strengthen monitoring and response efforts. Gary Beck reporting.
Transportation officials investigated disruptions affecting travelers after technical and operational problems caused delays at multiple locations.
Airlines and agencies work to restore schedules while assisting affected passengers across the country. Reviews are underway to determine causes and reduce future interruptions. Liam White reporting.
Diplomats gathered in Switzerland on Sunday as delicate negotiations sought to preserve a fragile Middle East ceasefire while regional tensions remained high.
Officials from the United States and Iran continued talks aimed at advancing a broader agreement. Mediators remained involved as disputes over security, shipping routes, and future commitments threatened progress. Chris Anderson reporting.
Federal officials are reviewing election security measures after renewed attention focused on voting systems ahead of upcoming nationwide contests.
Government agencies said existing safeguards remain in place to protect election infrastructure. Additional assessments and recommendations are expected as preparations continue for future voting cycles. Jessica Oakley reporting.
Violence continued in parts of the Middle East despite diplomatic activity, leaving civilians at risk and complicating efforts to stabilize several conflict zones.
Reports describe new strikes and clashes affecting communities already facing months of hardship. Aid groups urged restraint while governments monitored conditions and weighed further responses. Lawrence Keller reporting.
Communities across several states faced severe weather threats as emergency crews monitored conditions and prepared for possible flooding and storm damage.
Local authorities issued warnings and encouraged residents to follow safety guidance during changing conditions. Forecasts indicated hazardous weather could continue affecting travel and outdoor activities. Kyle Norris reporting.
Leaders backing Ukraine signaled renewed support as concerns grew over possible Russian attacks and continuing pressure along the front lines.
Ukrainian officials said allies pledged additional military and economic assistance during ongoing consultations. The commitments focus on defense needs, while sanctions and diplomatic pressure on Moscow are expected to continue. Benjamin Wright reporting.
And that's the latest news headlines with Alan Edwards.
If you think local radio sucks, wait till you hear our free-form station, Radio Big.
I never really think that anybody understands the sarcasm in that one, but whatever. Okay, so let's continue talking about some other things that are going on inside of the world of the multiverse, because that's kind of what we do around here. So anyways, let's talk about some things that happened back on this date. Back in 1860, U.S. Secret Service is created. In 1938, Marineland opens in Florida. It's the first aquarium, Marineland. So just in case. In 1955, Walt Disney's Lady and the Tramp is released. In 1979, the Charlie Daniels Band releases Never Went Down to Georgia. In 1989, the movie Batman premieres. Let's see. In 2006, Aaron Spelling, TV producer, dies. And then, let's see, in 2009, the Tonight Show sidekick, Ed McMahon, died at the age of 86. So there you go. Some things going on back on the dates listed. Let's talk about some celebrity birthdays going on today. Randy Jackson turned 70. Frances McDormand turned 69. Selma Blair turns 54. What else? Jason Mraz turns 49. And Duffy, the singer, 42. So there you go. Let's talk about some things that you ought to know, because it seems around that time to talk about it. Alan Greenspan, one of the most influential economists in modern history, has died at the age of 100 from complications related to Parkinson's disease. Greenspan led the U.S. Federal Reserve from 1987 to 2006, serving under 4 presidents and helping steer the American economy through major events, including the 1987 stock market crash, the Asian financial crisis, the dot-com boom and bust, the aftermath of September 11th, and he earned the nickname the Maestro for his enormous influence over the financial markets. After leaving the Fed, Greenspan remained active as an author, consultant, and commentator on global economic issues, widely praised for overseeing the long period of economic growth. His legacy became more complicated after the 2008 financial crisis, with critics arguing that some of his support for deregulation contributed to the collapse. His wife and veteran journalist Andrea Michelle said that he was a giant of a man who wasn't afraid to acknowledge his mistakes. So there you go. So let me see. Do I have time for one more? Let's try one more. Palm Beach International Airport is getting a new name beginning July the 9th. The Florida airport will officially become President Donald J. Trump International Airport, following the state law that was passed in March. The final approval is expected from the FAA on that day. Travelers shouldn't notice any disruption, though airport officials say that the transition, including new signs, branding, and public material, will happen in phases over the coming months while the airport operation continues to be normal. So there you go. Anyways, that's going to sum up our time together at the top of the hour. We'll be going over to radiobig.fm if you're not there already. But over the next 2 hours, we'll be talking about the world of music and the world of entertainment and playing some music. If you want to go over there to radiobig.fm. If you don't want to go over there and you want to hang out here with the likes of Sheldon Primus, you're more than welcome on doing that, as he will be talking about the life of safety consulting. Yep, that's what he does. So there you go. So if I can leave you with some words of wisdom, let me give you this one. We can often do more for other men by correcting our own faults than trying to correct theirs. And if you need advice for today, grill lemon halves and squeeze them over chicken or seafood for some extra flavor. Some things to think about. Anyways, I know who you are. You know who I am. Love you, mean it, and goodbye.
The views and opinions expressed during this broadcast, podcast, or radio show are solely those of the host and guests and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of Safety FM and/or Radio Big. The content discussed, including examples of analysis, is provided for illustrative purposes only. It should not be applied as the sole solution in real-world scenarios, as it is based on limited and dated open source information. Any assumptions made during this broadcast, podcast, or radio show are not reflective of Safety FM and/or Radio Big. No portion of this broadcast, podcast, or radio show may be reproduced, stored in a retrieval system, or transmitted in any form or by any means, electronic, mechanical, recording, or otherwise, without prior written permission of Safety FM and/or Radio Big. For permission requests, contact Safety FM or Radio Big directly.